Hi there, greetings and salutations. My name is Jake Query. That is Derek Schultz, and we are not going to do April Fool's jokes, right?
Oh, yeah, it is April Fool's, isn't it? I didn't know because it was 26 degrees when I woke up this morning.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, I get it, right? It's Indiana weather. We've actually had a pretty mild March, I think, for the most part.
Yeah, but we had a terrible winter.
We had a horrible January and a pretty brutal February as well.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, spring has sprung, I guess. My lawn looks like crap, but and it's still cold outside. But, yeah, everything else is good. How are you?
I'm good, except for I have one fashion faux pas that I'm hesitant on when to mention it, because once I mention it, you'll never unsee it.
Okay.
I contemplated not wearing something today because of the fashion faux pas, and then I decided that I was going to see you today, and I thought you could help with it.
Okay. Is it something, generally speaking, when you offer something that I can help with, it's something that's demeaning to me?
I don't.
Or demeans me? So what would that be?
Your entire existence is demeaning.
Yeah, what would that be? See, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
No,
It
I'm
opens
saying,
the door for you to say something.
it's reality. I mean,
So what is the fashion faux pas?
No.
I'm genuinely interested.
We'll do it later.
Oh, wow, a tease?
People
for this?
watching can try to figure it out, right?
Okay. We have a lot of sports content. We could tease
We
that,
do.
too.
And you know what? I want to get right to this before we obviously do our
Yeah,
segment.
we are going to drink these.
I know, but how awesome is
yeah,
this?
really
How about
cool.
Prairie Farms putting together the bottles commemoratively, and we are always happy to have the American Dairy Association on board. And this is Query and Schultz, by the way, brought to you by the fine folks at Bailey & Wood. And we have a number of great sponsors, and we'll talk more about Bailey & Wood coming up. But the American Dairy Association has been really good to us this time of year when we turn it around in spring and we ramp up for the Indy 500. And Prairie Farms with their new commemorative special edition bottles with winners of the Indianapolis 500. That would be Will Power right there that you see on this one.
Yeah, man, with chocolate milk, pretty cool.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's pretty cool the way the milk tastes.
There's me. Cool.
I like it. Very cool. And, of course, we're going to tell you about all of the virtues of chocolate milk, milk in general, and winners drink milk. And we are thrilled to have the American Dairy Association back on board for another spring season. A lot to talk about. You are correct, Eric. Let's begin with the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, let's lead Pacers. Heck yeah. Playing really good basketball. They got beat on a LeBron tip-in the other night, which was a little bit that one stung. Don't get me wrong. But given the fact that they've won a bunch of games that they probably had no business winning,
Correct.
including last night, we're taping this early on Tuesday morning, they were down 16 to the Kings. They looked dead in the water in the middle of the third quarter. Came back and won that game. Home stretch here, they are in very, very good shape. They're 2 full games up on the Pistons. They're 3.5 up now on the Bucks, who I don't think are going to catch them. The Bucks have faded off. They've only got 7 games left. And you've got a really bad Hornets team. Knock on wood, because the Hornets, for whatever reason, the last couple of years
They've matched up well with them, right?
have played well against the Pacers, but an awful Hornets team and an even worse Jazz team coming up here on Friday. So you win those 2, and you're at least 2 up with 5 to play, and then I think you're feeling pretty good about your chances at that point for the number 4 seed and securing home court advantage.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing. And
because you have the tiebreaker over Detroit.
I
too.
think
I
think I would rather play if I'm the Pacers. And we'll get to the Sacramento game here in a second. Derek, I would rather face Milwaukee in the postseason than Detroit.
Yeah.
Because Milwaukee, you've got Damian Lillard. I mean, you feel for him with the blood clot. His status is uncertain. Giannis has been banged up, but Milwaukee just feels like to your point, they're kind of fading. They just. I don't know. Milwaukee's more of a known entity. I think Detroit is young enough and just naive enough that they can create some damage.
Here's why I'll disagree. I think Milwaukee, when they're right, has a gear that Detroit doesn't have.
That I don't disagree with that.
And I think their ceiling is higher. And let's face it, the Pacers, it's not like they've played poorly against Detroit this year. They're 3-1 against them. And I think at times they've gotten into their heads a little bit because Detroit is there is something dangerous about being the new kid on the block.
Right.
Like
That's
the
what
Pistons
I mean.
are, because they're playing with house money. They've been terrible for like 15 years. So they get into the playoffs. This is their best season in forever. They got nothing to lose, whereas the Pacers have real expectations because they just made the conference finals the year prior. But I think what you wanted is to, A, host a first-round playoff series, which they're going to have, barring a collapse here, they're going to have the chance to do. And B, I just feel like you wanted to if you were the 6th seed, so you had to start without home court advantage, you got to go to New York, and then you come back and your reward is Boston.
Yeah,
that's a much tougher road to me than facing Detroit and potentially Cleveland.
What's funny is when you think about the East and the balance of the East and the power of the East, all eyes are still on Boston. Hey, if Boston's healthy, what's Boston going to be able to – Cleveland's got 60 wins. I mean, we don't talk about – no one talks about Cleveland.
They've been really good.
There's a lot of conversation about Oklahoma City and the fact that no one talks about Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, they remind me a little bit of the 14 Pacers, right, where they were leading the East too, and it was like, so what? And ultimately, we know what happened to the 14 Pacers, but at their peak, they were an unbelievable basketball team. And they won, what did they win, 57 games, I think?
I got to remember.
58 games?
Who eliminated them? Miami, right?
Yeah, they made the conference finals.
That's
barely.
Right.
Remember, they had to beat the Hawks in 7
That's
in the first round, and then I think they beat, was it Washington? I think it was Washington after that.
That's right. It was Washington because they had there was a time where Washington almost looked like it might be kind of this growing rivalry, right?
Yeah, they had like Gortat, and they had a couple of other guys that were on that team.
John Wall, right?
That were tough. But yeah, I mean, Cleveland had a 4-game losing skid, which kind of halted a historic level winning streak for them. But they've got 60 wins, and there's still a week and a half left in the season.
Here's what the Pacers have done to this point, and what I like about it. They have had, and they've got to somehow, because in the postseason you can't keep playing with fire here. They have found ways to win games late where they have trailed early in said games, right? Mm-hmm. And put themselves in a hole and bounce back. Last night, again, taping this on Tuesday, last night against Sacramento, prime example, they got down 16. Side note, I like that Kings roster.
Yeah.
They made mid-season moves, and they're just now, I think, acclimating with Zach LaVine there, and then DeRozan's there. They've got some really good players. But the Pacers down the stretch, the thing that I like is they've had different heroes each given night. Now, Halliburton is your guy. Last night it was Nesmith, and I thought Jarris Walker played really well last night. Other games it's been Siakam. Other games it's been Obi Toppin, who also was good last night. So each guy has had their turn at being a savior, if you will. Mm-hmm. And I think that's going to bode well for them in the postseason, because in the postseason, every game takes on its own narrative. Every series changes game to game, and the storylines or the strategies shift, and you need more than just 2 or 3 guys. And I think the Pacers have had that. That's the good news. The one troubling thing they've got to take care of is these slow starts and getting down double digits and then having to roar back and have everything fall their way.
Yeah, which has happened more often than not in their wins here lately. Like they've been winning some games that they had no business winning. I don't know if last night goes into that category, but certainly, the game against a very shorthanded Dallas Mavericks team would be one of those that 9 times out of 10 you lose that game. But I like that they've been, I feel like, a little more versatile this year, where, like last night, take, for example, Miles Turner's sick. He's out of the lineup. Thomas Bryant, we know, is not a defender, right? And the Kings are just kind of attacking him and eating him alive, and the Pacers just decide, well, we're just going to go small. And so starting in the third quarter, they went really, really small, to the point where they had, Nembhard and McConnell on the floor at the same time. You had 2 point guards on the floor, and neither of them is Tyrese Halliburton. And it worked, and they made it work. Now, that's not like the long-term solution, but the fact that they can kind of, you mentioned individuals stepping up, which is 100% true, but I think they've also been able to cater game to game what they can do, and that shows how skilled they are, in the sense that they can kind of move and shift pieces around and make it work on any given night to win a game.
By the way, is your son still a Suns fan?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Because they've kind of set, right?
They have. They started to play pretty good basketball the last few weeks, but when they run up against a better team, like they played, I think, Houston the other night and lost 145
does he
to
actively
109.
does he just say he's a Suns fan, or he follows
No, we
them?
check the score every morning.
Really?
Things like that. He's now into the Yankees because it's baseball season. Yep.
Okay. Speaking
Yankees
of which,
hit 15 bombs over the weekend.
Okay, speaking of which, let me give you my one baseball thing.
Okay.
Not to deviate from the Pacers. This past Saturday.
Yeah.
It's kind of a gross day, right?
Yeah, it was a gross day.
It was just kind of bleh.
Yeah.
So I woke up, did some stuff, cleaned up, whatever, and then thought, I'm just going to take 2 hours, park it on the recliner, and flip channels and find a ball game. And I thought, baseball season's underway. Reds are playing.
Yep.
Cubs are playing. Derek, I couldn't find a game. It was like 1983. There was one game on national television. The Cardinals and Twins were on like the Fox game of the week. That was it.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball now, I'm assuming every team has their own, regional network thing. I have, on my cable system, I have the FanDuel Sports or whatever it is that the Pacers are on. The Reds were not on that. I think, do you have to buy an additional?
You should. I don't know if all the FanDuel Indiana.
Yeah,
I don't know if they carry all the Reds games.
That's what.
Do they carry every single one?
But what I'm saying is these teams now have individualized themselves so much with the regional carrier that you need to subscribe to.
Yeah.
That unless you have the MLB package, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, no, you're right. Or if you're a Yankees fan, because obviously the Yankees are on Sunday Night Baseball basically every week.
Right.
And they're on MLB Network basically every week. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need any of the packages to see the Yankees because I get 3 Yankee games a week.
Right.
Why would I pay more money for that? And that's all that I have the capacity to watch anyway. It's, 3-hour baseball games in a 162-game season. I'm not watching every game.
How about the Dodgers, by the way?
What about them? I was solely focused on the Yankees' 15 bombs. What did the Dodgers play? I'm assuming they played games too. Yeah.
I mean, not
Red Sox are 1-4. I know that.
Not to take away from the
Ellie De La Cruz launched a bomb last night.
He had 7 RBI.
Had the torpedo bat. He had 2? Oh wow. See, I only saw 1.
He had 7 RBI.
Had 2?
You should pay attention to stuff besides just your Yankees.
Sean's excited because IU season ended a month ago, so now he's into the Reds. I have the same complaints that you do with baseball. It's just kind of out of sight, out of mind. And you have the Final Four. You have the NBA playoffs are about to begin. The NFL stuff always stays in. It's tough for baseball. I love baseball. I feel for it.
The Dodgers are 6-0.
Oh, good for them.
The
Great.
Dodgers are. I mean, Derek, they are eviscerating people.
Yeah.
They won last night. Let's see.
All right, let's
6-1, 7-3, 8-5. They're just hitting home runs all over the place. They're unbelievable.
back to the Pacers. They're 34-16 since a 10-15 start. And I understand that what happens in the playoffs will lead some people to dictate what this season is, but have they already – I mean, this is a better basketball team than last year right now, right? And that's what you wanted. Is that fair to say?
I would think so. One of the things they're a better basketball team maybe than they were this time a year ago.
They've dealt with more this season than last season to me.
Last season, their peak was going into the in-season tournament. Like they hit a stride with Halliburton right before the All-Star game. And then they benefited in the postseason from the fact that there was attrition elsewhere. New York had injury, Milwaukee had injury.
That's why I don't want to set the bar at conference finals, because I think there were some circumstances that dictated that run last
I think
year.
it's very fair to assume and hope that the Pacers win a playoff series, and then in round 2
they're competitive. Yeah, against a superior team, because it's either going to be, it's increasingly looking like it's going to be Cleveland, but I guess it could still be Boston. But you hope that, I don't see them falling into the 6th spot at this point.
Right, I would agree with that.
I think you have to be pretty happy with where they are, all things considered. Also, I wanted to fit in while we're on the pro sports topic. I don't want to spend too much time on this because, guys, I'll be totally honest. Like this is just my opinion. I think Jake feels this way as well. We spend so much time on the Colts throughout the year that, like, having something as seemingly trivial as the owners' meeting, like, dominate the conversation.
The NFL, Derek, here's the thing. The NFL is brilliant. Name for me a big sporting event in the country not related to the NFL.
Final Four.
Owners' meeting. Give me another one.
Oh. Let's see. Wimbledon.
OTAs.
Okay, that's fair. Because I was thinking training camp for some of the other ones, like U.S. Open and things like that.
The NFL
you can't take anything in the fall, right? Because the fall, even college football. And college football is a big deal, but it's nothing compared to the NFL. Notre Dame, Georgia doesn't register at all compared to Cowboys, Eagles.
NBA All-Star Game, Combine.
Yeah. Well, and nothing NBA does either.
Masters Draft.
Yeah.
The NFL has brilliantly figured out how to make itself relevant. You mentioned whatever, early August, where kids going back to school. Oh, nope, sorry, schedule release day. They keep themselves. You no longer can go more than 3 weeks without the NFL becoming the major sports topic of conversation. And the owners' meeting those have been going on forever. I have no idea when this became a thing. This is now a big thing.
Yeah. I don't know either.
Because
I
they're
think
going to change that. They're no longer going to do the tush push.
Yeah,
Okay?
I mean, there's some rule stuff in there. So there is some stuff that is newsworthy, that is determined there. And you get access there for reporters. But I think it's another excuse for people to just go down to Florida for a couple of days and do stand-ups outside a gigantic mansion and luxury cars and, pretend like they're in the same tax bracket as some of these billionaire owners. I think
yes.
I think it's mostly an ego thing, and media people. I'm not trying to single anybody out or anything like that, but you and I have gotten to do cool stuff or be in cool places where we would normally never be able to go, and it does inflate you, right? I mean, you're like, whoa, look at this. I'm living large.
Did I already tell you about speaking of media ego, did I already tell you about my experience getting into the NCAA tournament?
This past weekend?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
But I know you were worried about getting your credential and all that stuff because we talked about that.
So I'll do this as watered down as possible as to not offend anybody. But I had to go so for the radio station I work, we were credentialed for the NCAA regionals at Lucas Oil Stadium. Very grateful for that, right? So I went on Friday to go pick up my credential at Lucas Oil Stadium. I walked in, it was like 3:25. And there was...
You called me at like 3:31.
15 to 18 people that waiting in line, right? And I walk up and I said, what's going on? And they said, well, the window opens at 3:30. Oh, okay. So at about 3:29, the security guard says, sorry, but I can't open this gate until my supervisor gets down here. Okay. It's myself, a couple of people from Indy, and then a lot of, I hate to sound like the old guy here, a lot of younger people that were working for Lexington, Louisville, and Knoxville television.
Sure.
They all had their little cameras and everything else. And it's now like 3:32, and they're pulling the whole, do you know who we are? We have to be on television. Look, the news is going on whether you let us in there or not, and we have to be in there live on television. And I'm like, guys, it's not 1995 anymore. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody that's a fan of Kentucky is turning on their local 5 o'clock CBS, NBC local news to watch some 26-year-old tell them what's happening. Nobody cares.
Will there be a TV station in Knoxville, Tennessee in 15 years?
Correct.
Right?
Correct. I mean, I understand that everybody has a job to do, and it's a great career, and I wish everybody in that the best. But you also, in that situation, need to be realistic of, actually, guys, you're wrong. You can sit here and say the news is going on whether you're going to let me or not, and the reality is no, the games are going to go on whether you're here or not.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
There's this one of my sayings in life, and this is not just a media thing, this is just in general, is that I'm not going to get mad at somebody for a situation that they can't control.
Correct. That's fair.
This security guy, he's just doing what
he's
told.
Commands.
He's just
Correct.
doing what he's told, okay? And he can't control that. If he was told explicitly he needs a supervisor there, then yeah, that's frustrating, right? Because you're like, the window is supposed to open at 3:30. I get people have things to do and people to see, but you see it all the time in life where somebody's just screaming at a customer service representative, and you're just like, this person has no control over the situation.
When was the last time, from a sports standpoint, that you heard about or watched a game or whatever where you thought to yourself, I can't wait to watch the news tonight to see what the players had to say about this?
Yeah, I was probably a little kid waiting for like Len Berman on NBC4 in 1992 to have the Knicks locker room audio from their playoff win over the Pistons.
Because now it's right there 5 minutes later. Have you not noticed my fashion faux pas?
No, I'm not. You have a hoodie on and jeans and whatever. You look normal. You look good. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you look good.
Really?
Yeah. You're a good-looking guy. It helps the show. It does. We, as much as people come here for
yin and
sports
yang
content.
Of that, you mean?
No. As much as people come for sports content and things like that, I mean, the show is, I don't know, how do I put this without like sounding like I'm bragging? It's easy on the eyes. It is. It's easy on the eyes. I mean, we're selling the whole package.
Who tells you this?
The numbers. The numbers tell me this. Nobody verbally tells me this. It's just I can tell from what I see on the charts and the analytics, and I have AI algorithms that show the success of the show, and we generate female views and how long they lock in when, like, the screen here. Jordan, can you just go? Yeah, you're on me, right? The screen just goes to me. Like I I have an algorithm, and sometimes it'll go like that, and then it'll go to Jake. Can we go to Jake here real quick? And it'll dip a little bit, but not crazy. Not crazy like a valley. And now when we need another peak, let's go. Peak it.
Yeah, stayed on me. Right?
Well, no, that's more of like a plateau. Let's peak. Ready? Peak.
No.
Bang, spike.
Here. This is a peak right here. Just doing this.
No, see it now. It's low. Now it's low, and you're covering up your eyes. That's what the highest rated thing for you is your eyes.
I beautiful.
That's what the AI algorithm says.
No, I
the analytics.
Eyes.
Yeah,
you know that, right?
Yeah.
And when I tan,
that's how you're able to con people. Is your eyes.
So let me just show you this. This is a hooded sweatshirt, right? It's got a little bit of cat hair on it. That's not too cool, but it's got the string. Mm-hmm. But somehow the string came out on the other side.
Yeah, I hate that. Yeah. And now you can't get it back in there?
So, and I figured, you
got one string.
Well, you have the widow hands. So I figured your widow hands can
You want me to reach in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I'll do that like maybe during a commercial break. I'd probably be inappropriate to do it now. Okay.
It's right here.
Yeah.
I don't think you can get that done.
I'll dig on in there if you want me to.
Excuse me?
Let's get to our Hoagie and Hero of the Week.
You'd be my Hero of the Week if you can actually figure that out. Should I pull the string all the way out?
Brought you no, leave it in for now. Brought to you by our friends at Hoagies and Hops. I always say this, but this is, I mean, all the sandwiches are great. This has become one of my favorites. It's one of the most unique, and it's got the most elements. It is the drum roll.
Do you have any extra banana peppers?
Oh, do you like those?
Love them.
You're like a 2-year-old, so I only ever give you the basics on this.
Why would you not?
Take some off mine.
No, you already touched them.
I didn't. I was just taking a fork in the kitchen, so you can actually grab those. Don't touch anything else, though.
Hold on.
All right, well, you got some lettuce there.
No,
just grab. You already touched it. Just take it off.
You touched that one earlier. It's kind of
disgusting. Now you knocked one off of mine. All right. Oh, the Always Sunny. See, it's got a lot of elements, and they're just falling everywhere, but that's okay because it's delicious. Always Sunny. Little Turkey. Little Munster.
Munster cheese.
Chopped Turk, which is really, really good. Bacon bits. LT. Peppadoo Pep. Banana Pep. And horsey mayo. Yum.
While Derek is enjoying that, I will let you know about this, which is one of my favorites from Chili Water. I'm going to hold the can up right there. Get that towards the camera. There we go. Good. The Chili Water right there, the blood orange, which is, it's interesting because it's an IPA, but it's very smooth, and it's got that, you'll hear here. That is the sound of total refreshment about to come my way. A little bit of, like, not a citrus tart by any stretch, but, man, it smoothens out the IPA. You get a little bit of the hop, and then a little bit of that orange twist with it. The blood on the tracks, again, the blood orange IPA from Chili Water. Chili Water right there at 42nd and Boulevard, attached to Hoagies and Hops, also a location in Fountain Square. But you want to talk about fresh beer, great beer, and a wide variety of them. We've had, obviously, all the different ones, whether you're in the mood for a dark, whether a Pilsner, Mexican lager, whatever it may be. But the blood on the tracks is fantastic.
And the saltiness of the bacon bits and the sweetness of the Peppadoo Pep, really, really good. Hero of the Week. Now, it's not just about the offense for him, right? Because they need him to be a good defender and all that and do other things. But Jarris Walker's found himself back in the rotation now. And he's taken the opportunity and done well with it. Last 3 games, he's been in double figures. He had 15 again last night, a very efficient 15. Had 16 against Washington. I know that's a JV basketball team, right? The Pacers put up 195 whatever points. But he's making 3-pointers at a more consistent rate as well. You know, he's up to 6 points per game. And I think it's taken him a minute, right? You forget how young Jarris Walker was when he came into the league. But there's growth there now. You're seeing it. It's starting to, it's not just one of these practice things where the coaches are telling you, oh, you know, Jarris is doing really well, and right. he's coming. And, you know, eventually you need to see it. I think we're starting to see it. And if he's going to emerge as not an important piece, but a reliable one, I think that'll really help the Pacers here going forward.
I think Jarris Walker, Derek, in his rookie year, I think it was very difficult for him because he came into as a rookie class, a 2-person class with himself and Ben Shepherd. Mm-hmm. And Ben Shepherd got minutes right away, a more mature player that was coming out of, obviously, 4 years of college. And Shepherd was in the rotation and was kind of the story of that rookie year. And I think that for Ben Shepherd was difficult for him. I think it took a long time for for Jarris Walker. It was difficult for him to see Ben Shepherd getting those minutes, and Walker was kind of buried. And when he would go out there, it was like he was at times trying to push too hard and playing faster than the game needed him to play, and it slowed down for him a little bit. Now, he missed the block out against LeBron, right, in that Lakers game. But
yeah, he did.
Kind of understandable in that regard because there was a lot going on there.
And his teammates went to bat for him because he's been playing well.
Right.
And I think that shows you how they feel about him.
And he really played well last night for sure. I thought he was great last night. I mean, he and Obi Toppin were key parts of what they were doing.
In the first half, he was the only one doing anything.
Sandwich is fabulous.
So is the beer. I love the fruity notes in there. I'm a big fruity notes fan. 42nd and Boulevard Catering, hoagiesandhops.com. Christina and her team are the best. Freddie and the Sunday night. Shout out to the Sunday night crew. Sunday night crew's awesome. They're the ones that always take care of me. It's just a great group of guys and gals. And we love Alexis and everybody over at Chili Water as well. They're just super, super friendly and cool and nice.
It's such a cool place. The whole corner is just a cool place.
Yeah, it's a great vibe for sure. We come back on the show. The madness ends for Purdue, and the Boilers and Hoosiers now go portaling. We'll talk about that, plus a super chalky Final Four and what it could potentially mean from a historical standpoint, particularly for Duke and Houston.
Do you know what Houston has a chance to do that's never been done before?
Yes.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No.
It's Corey and Schultz, ISC Sports Network. Back with more next.
Tonight.
You know we cover all sports in Central Indiana. Hop in. It's going to be a long night.
Bailey & Wood Mortgage Lender, proud partner of News 8 Sports Hummer.
At an Indiana dairy farm, long workdays stretch into more labor after sunset. A newborn calf needs watching. Barn needs cleaning. Tractor needs some handiwork for tomorrow's tasks. Just like in your own home, the day's chores are never done until the family beds down for the night. Dairy farmers and their families share the same dream with all of us, that what we all do is worthwhile. Bringing to market pure, safe, and healthy dairy foods is what they do. From Indiana's dairy families to ours every single day. Learn more at winnersdrinkmilk.com.
Hey, AC!
Nice snap.
Mortgage is a snap! Duh!
Bailey & Wood, a lending hand for Wish TV Sports.
Welcome back. Bailey & Wood presents Query and Schultz, ISC Sports Network. Alongside Jay Query, I'm Derek Schultz. Thanks to our friends at Bailey & Wood Financial Group. 855-350-HOME, BAWFG.com for Mike Wood and his 5-star customer service team at Bailey & Wood. Whether you're looking to get that pre-approval for a home mortgage, spring has sprung, right? This is generally the home buying and selling season. You could do so with Bailey & Wood, or if you're looking to refi, you can do that with them as well. And they're going to do a great job taking care of you. They took care of my first home mortgage, and hopefully that's my last home mortgage. We're planning to stay in that house for like 25 years.
We've had Chateau Kitchens redo the entire thing.
So. Yeah, so that's helped. Yeah, that's helped for sure. But we just love the neighborhood, and we love being in Midtown. I mean, it's a coveted neighborhood. People want to be in Midtown, and so we're really lucky to be in Midtown. And Bailey & Wood and Mike Wood and his team are part of the reason that we were able to do so.
Midtown, by the way.
Midtown, yes. Purdue season comes to an end. Hard-fought victory. Let's just kind of tying a bow on that. It really looked like their season had gotten off the rails, right? They lost 6 of 9 to close, and they were lucky to win some of the games that they won. I mean, they could have easily gotten beat by USC, I thought, in the first night of the Big Ten tournament. But to come back and make the second weekend, and say what you want about the fact that it was McNeese and High Point, they dominated pretty much both those teams. I know High Point got down to 3. You never felt like Purdue was going to lose that game, and they dominated McNeese. And look at what Houston did to Tennessee.
Yep.
And to give yourself a chance, I mean, Jake, you were at that game. Purdue had no business being in that game. Houston was way more athletic and way more physical than them. And when Houston went up 10, you thought, okay, Purdue's going to lose by 14 or 16, and that's going to be it. And they fought all the way back from there. That Cam Heide 3 was a great moment where the crowd just erupted. It was a push-off at the end. It is what it is. The out-of-bounds calls both went against them, and it looked like that should have been Purdue ball both times. Them's the breaks. That's the NCAA tournament. As much as we want to say that the most skilled team wins and the best team wins, a lot of it is skill, and a lot of it is being the best team. a chunk of it, too, is just luck and just having the breaks go your way. And the breaks did not go Purdue's way. And that's okay because I think they held themselves up pretty well in that game. Now you have to deal with the portal, and immediately we saw 3 players throw their lot in. Brian Waddell's not a surprise. He's probably going to go to a lower level and play.
Right.
Never really recovered from the ACL injury. He was always a guy that I think somewhat took a flyer on out of Carmel, and maybe that potential got zapped by that injury. Will Berg just never really materialized, a foreign prospect, and he'll have the chance to play at a lower level. He wants to get out there and play. And then Miles Kelvin, who's been a little bit of an enigma.
That didn't surprise me, by the way.
You see the promise with Miles Kelvin, but then, sometimes you see him do something immature or young. I think he really grew this year and became a better teammate and a better all-around player and did what he was what they wanted him to do. He's a gifted shooter. He's an unbelievable athlete. He came to Purdue when he was 17. He's not even 20 years old. And I'm interested to see what he does, but they can't guarantee him anything, right? And he's going to be a junior.
I think he went in. I think he probably went into his postseason meeting saying, "Okay, I want to know what my exact role is going to be here." And Matt Painter said, "We don't hand out roles.
Like, I want to start," or and I don't know if they could do that. I mean, I think pound for pound, and I know that they're not exactly apples to apples, but Cam Heidi's ahead of him, right? I think you would say, because I think maybe, and not that Heidi doesn't have a good ceiling too, but I think the floor is higher for Heidi. And this is what good teams are going to have to deal with. You're going to lose good players in the portal. The good news for Purdue is that they added South Dakota State big man Oscar Clough, first-team All-Summit player, former Washington State transfer, 19 and 12. He's 6'10". He's a big body, and he was one of the best bigs in the portal, and he was their number one target.
He'll give them some depth and some help there, right?
He looks like a Purdue player.
He does.
I mean, he's got
he looks
the beard.
like Braden Smith.
It's not just depth, Jake. I mean, he's going to be one of their frontline players,
right.
I think. He's not Trey Kaufman-Wren or Braden Smith, but he's going to be one of their frontline players. And, this is a team that we're only talking on paper, and they still have to keep Smith and TKR and Lawyer and that core of the team. But if we're to presume that Purdue's top 6 guys come back, plus Clough, that's going to be not only probably a Big Ten favorite, but also potentially a Final Four favorite.
Yeah, I would agree.
And that's how good they are.
Braden Smith is really good. And that game against Houston, I think, showed it, because Houston had better athletes, they had better defense, they had better shooting, but Purdue put themselves in operating areas on every possession because of Braden Smith and what he was able to do in dictating. Braden Smith controlled that game, right?
He finds the open guy always.
Totally. Yeah. Now, credit Kelvin Sampson and Houston for going back to a play against Michigan State where Purdue had an inbound, and they saw the way that the man guarding the inbound then moved over to seal off the lane, and they saw that opening for the inbound passer to then take it right back and lay it in. They took advantage of that, and they designed a play to take advantage of something they saw in scouting against Michigan State. Great coaching by Kelvin Sampson. I'm not a fan of the guy, but he's a tremendous basketball coach. But in that game, Purdue was in the game because of the point guard play. And the biggest question mark for Purdue now, I don't think it's going to happen, but it can't be ruled out in today's world, is that a Texas or a Kansas or somebody of that ilk, I'm just throwing out names randomly, comes up and says, here's $4 million, Braden Smith, for you to come play for us. Right now, he slots probably somewhere between 25 and 50 in the NBA draft. He could make more money next year in college than the NBA in terms of the rookie pay scale, probably. I think he stays at Purdue, but you can't rule it out. You got to look at it.
I think here's why you can't rule it out. And we've done this before with players. I mean, people did this with Zach Edey. They doubted him as an NBA prospect, and you see that clearly Zach Edey is the NBA player. But there's really not a certainty that Braden Smith is an NBA player, right? Like that he's going to have a long NBA career. And if you're thinking that way, you have to maximize your value now, right? But I think the difference too is that, he's from here and he's dedicated himself to Purdue. Like, if I'm him, I still have to get mine. And Purdue has funds. Do they have what some of these other, what Kansas has? Probably not, right? But they all these teams, especially if you're a Big Ten or SEC team, you could dip into the coffers and keep your guys.
Do you want to know, speaking of Kansas and speaking of the transfer portal, do you want to know a Jake Quarry unpopular opinion?
Yeah.
I know nothing of the young man. My understanding is great guy, great young man. Flory Badunga is Hunter Perea part 2.
I really didn't follow him much at all.
He averaged 5.5 points a
yeah.
game at Kansas, 6 boards. I mean,
I knew he was kind of like a bit player, but
Bill Self said, hey, this guy's he has a high ceiling as soon as he starts to learn like how to score other than dunking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's exactly what we heard about Hunter Perea. Unbelievable athlete, unbelievable body, all of those things. But basketball wasn't instinctive to that point where I think it's entirely possible that Flory Badunga, and I wish him nothing but the best. And he may have, maybe he goes to Indiana. I have no idea. I heard Auburn, but either way, I wonder if he's not one of those guys now that is destined to be, somebody that has transferred now 3 times in 3 years and just kind of gets buried. I hope that's not the case, but I have a feeling about it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. When you go to Kansas, it's kind of like the women's players that choose to go to UConn. You're used to being big dog, right? Chances are you were a high school McDonald's All-American and all that stuff, which obviously Badunga was. But then you go into the room with those guys, and you're just the guy or you're just the gal, because everybody's got those creds, man.
You're right.
Every single person in that room is an All-American, 5 million star recruit, has an NIL deal, all that stuff. So some people can handle that, and then they still, they take that as competition and they build themselves up, and some people resent that. And those are the ones that the latter group is the one that fails, I think, when it comes to those things. But then you've got Indiana's situation where every single player is either graduating or in the portal. But, Tucker DeVries is playing for his dad, right? I know it's not officially. He's going to play for his dad. Okay, so you at least have one player there. And I think somebody worth keeping an eye on it. Ryan Conwell was a great player at ISU. And
nice year at Xavier.
And is one of the high-end portal guys, can really score. And just one of those indie kids that just fell through the cracks. I don't know why he ended up. Was it USF that he started with? I think that's right.
That might be right.
I think it was South Florida. I don't know why he ended up there. I don't know. Maybe like Rakestraw or somebody else could tell me. But he can really play.
Yeah.
And
he was good at Indiana State.
I don't know what the interest is. I'm not following it that closely. If Indiana's got him scheduled for a visit or anything like that, I haven't gone over to
He was there yesterday, right?
Boards. Oh, was he? Okay,
yeah.
Great. That'd be a big get for them.
And then they brought in and toured through the 6'6", I forget his name, from Iowa, 6'6", 6'7" shooter, 3-point shooter. DeVries is going to want shooters. I mean, he's going to want 4 and out, as they call it, meaning 4 guys on the outside, playing, moving the ball around. The problem is his son, who is a 2-time Missouri Valley Player of the Year and was off to a good start at West Virginia before he was sat for the rest of the year. He's going to take one of those spots. I mean, he is going. Tucker DeVries is going to start, and then it's a matter of who else you put around him.
Yeah. So Indiana will be fine. They have NIL out the wazoo. Darren DeVries will be able to build a roster, but it is an interesting situation because Terry Moore and the women's team is going through the same thing.
Yes.
Where every single player is either graduating or in the portal, and it's just, even for a team like IU that has a lot of assets, it's something that they have to deal with. All chalk Final Four. Second time in 40 years. You asked me the question, Houston has the chance to do something that no one has ever done. I believe they would have played the highest possible seed in every single game.
Correct.
And won.
Correct. And 2 number 1s in the Final Four.
Duke, Houston, Auburn, and Florida. I know you don't like KenPom. They're 4 of the top 10 KenPom rated teams of the last 15 years of college basketball.
Really?
Yeah, that's how good all 4 of those teams are.
Can I give one thing? By the way, is it Cooper Koch? Koch.
Yeah.
From Iowa.
Yeah. But I thought it's Josh Dix is the one that's transferred,
sorry,
right?
You're right. You're right. Dix is the one that was on campus. Sorry. Yes.
Okay.
He was at Indiana. He visited Indiana. In terms of the Final Four, I saw this today, and I know I'm old. I know I'm crusty. He's a tremendous player. Cooper Flagg is an unbelievable player, and he's lived up to every billing that came in. But I saw somebody today say, let's just declare it now, it's over. Cooper Flagg is the greatest one-and-done player in college basketball history. Why do we do this? Why do we do this? George McGinnis averaged 30 and 15 at Indiana as a freshman and then went to the pros. Kevin Durant, what he did at Texas.
Yeah, but those seasons didn't come with team success.
Carmelo Anthony's
on that list, yeah. But the two that you meant, look, pound for pound, is Cooper Flagg as good as Kevin Durant or probably George McGinnis, even though he obviously was before my generation? I don't know. Probably not. But when you're talking about the
very
individual success plus,
but they're very
the
good players around him.
Yeah, but there were good players around Carmelo Anthony. I mean, Anthony Davis is the one that comes to mind for me. Anthony Davis was the best player in the country, I felt like, as a freshman.
Correct.
And he dominated games, and he had a bunch of great players around. That 2012 Kentucky team was freaking loaded. That was a great team. And this Duke team is really good. They're blowing everybody out. Their league stinks. So that was part of it this year. The league stinks, but
Who wins it all?
Blew everybody out. The winner of Duke and Houston.
Fair.
Honestly, I think Houston's going to win it.
Do you really?
I just think they're very difficult to play. They defend like hell.
If you get this
they're
correct,
big, they're physical, the whole deal.
If you get this correct, I will be highly impressed.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite trivia questions. The University of Houston has been to more Final Fours than any school that has never won a national championship.
Yeah. 7, right?
Yes. If they are to win it,
the next team.
There are 2.
Oh, no.
There are 2 that tie. There are 2 that have been to 5 Final Fours and have not won it, and they will take over the crown of that trivia question.
5 Final Fours and not one.
They are both solid basketball programs. Both are probably underappreciated as basketball programs.
Illinois hasn't been to 5, have they?
Illinois is one of them.
Oh, are they? Okay, wow. All right, Illinois won. They've been to 5?
Yes.
89, 05.
I don't know the other years.
Prehistoric.
Yeah.
Ones Lou Henson only went to 1, right? He only went to the 1?
Henson only went with the Flying Illini, right? That team was really good, by the way.
Illinois men's basketball. Let's look that up.
I'm going to guess like probably 48, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, Final Four. Yeah, 49, 51, 52.
Yeah. Okay.
So sorry, I didn't know that.
No.
But I took a stab at it because Illinois is a really good program.
The other one is a good program. They were kind of topical and in the news around Selection Sunday, and very peripherally topical when it came to relating to Indiana.
I'm trying to think. Oh, West Virginia? Wait, no, they won one, didn't they? Did Jerry West win one?
Correct.
Okay.
No, Cal won one. West Virginia went and lost.
Has West Virginia won a title?
West Virginia
They're not the
has
answer.
I'm fairly certain they have not won a title.
Let me look it up real quick. West Virginia, no, they have not. But they've only been at 2 Final Fours, 59 and 2010. I don't know. Hit me. Pitt? Missouri?
You're getting closer.
I don't know who that is.
They have a musical named after them.
Oh, Oklahoma?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
It's a good trivia question.
Yeah,
right?
that is a good one. Yeah, that is good. That transitions us well into our Hoagie and Hero of the Week. Not our Hoagie and Hero of the Week. We did that one. That transitions us well into our American Dairy Association, Indiana, Winter's Drink Milk. Now, we usually have the glasses that they hand to the drivers, right?
No, this is the commemorative bottle.
Look, we got to do the bottles here. We got to do the bottles. Congratulations to Brooke and her team and Jenny and everybody over there for making this happen. Because I went in the dairy case at my local grocer and was able to get American Dairy Association Winter's Drink Milk right here.
Here's the thing about the Dairy
with
Association.
Indy 500 winners.
The thing about the Dairy Association is we've been partners with them for a while, but I really do want people to know this. Derek and I have had the privilege for a couple of years running now to MC the fastest rookie luncheon brought to you by the American Dairy Association of Indiana. And in that regard, not only have we gotten to know very, very well, Jenny, who is the CEO, and Brooke Williams, who is the grand poobah, if you will, of the public relations and media relations and promotions for the American Dairy Association, but also the dairy farmers. Whether it be Carrie, who is one of the dairy farmers that gave the milk to Joseph Newgarden, or Tim. I mean, we've gotten to know these people, and they are salt of the earth, good quality people in the state of Indiana, hardworking people, diligent people, and just the kind of people you enjoy being around. And it is truly a privilege and an honor for Derek and I both to be able to represent and speak for the Dairy Association each and every year coming up to the Indianapolis 500 because they are the kind of people that you want to be around. Simply as simple as that, especially the dairy farmers and the work ethic for all of them. So it is once again a thrill to do so. And again, the commemorative bottles from Prairie Farms with the Indianapolis 500 winners on them. And they bring us our Winners Drink Milk winner of the week.
WinnersDrinkMilk.com. The winner of the week, people aren't going to like this, especially IU fans, Kelvin Sampson. Final Four for Houston.
That chocolate milk is outstanding.
Houston has gone to 6 straight Sweet 16s. They've been to 3 Elite Eights and 2 Final Fours just since 2018. Houston made the tournament once from 1993 to 2018. Houston did not win an NCAA tournament game for 33 seasons in a row. 33 seasons from 1985 to 2018. Jake, 10 years ago, Houston, and I know their history in Phi Sigma Jam and all that, Houston wasn't even on anybody's radar.
Right.
Houston was nothing. Houston was not only was Houston not a top 10 program, they weren't a top 50 program.
He is a tremendous basketball
They were
coach.
dead and buried and gone. And the only thing relevant about Houston before Kelvin Sampson in the post Hakeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler era was that they hired Drexler and then fired him, right? To be their head coach. So it's a complete transformation. It's unbelievable. And you know what? He's done it. It's not like he's had a bunch of great NBA players in there. You know, Jarris Walker,
you're right.
okay, he's
You're
fine.
right.
You know, Jamal Sheed was a good player. Marcus Sasser, like those guys were like late first-round picks. They were okay.
Right.
They were great college players, but they weren't great pro prospects.
The one thing you'll say for Kelvin Sampson, and look, I don't like the guy. I thought he was arrogant as all can get out when he was in Indiana. I thought he was difficult. And it wasn't that he broke rules at Indiana. It was that he said they were rules he, quote, didn't take seriously. So he knew it wasn't the cover-up. It wasn't the crime. It was the cover-up.
Yeah.
Having said all of that, he's a tremendous basketball coach because his players play hard. They play hard for him. Mm-hmm. They buy into what he's selling, and they play hard. And they're going to guard you for 40 straight minutes. And truthfully, if you're a fan of basketball, they respect the game the way they play it.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think what happened at Indiana, and this was like kind of revisionist history, it wasn't just the rules violations. Like there were legitimately bad people in the Indiana program. There just were. Like there was a criminal aspect.
Correct.
You know, you can go and look at some of those players, and you know, if you want to Google search Armand Bassett and what he's been up to, you can do that.
Right.
I mean, there were guys that were doing bad things and continue to do bad things. And that was part of it too. So these people saying, well, they should have never, the biggest mistake was that. I'll defend it. You know, Indiana's made a lot of mistakes, Jake. We talked about a lot of them, right? And in the post-Bob Knight era, you could write a whole book. You could write several books about all the mistakes that Indiana has made. Firing Kelvin Sampson was not one of them.
I would agree with that.
That was something that
they had to do.
That was a forced divorce.
Yeah.
And the program had to be cleaned up after that. So it wasn't just, well, you had a couple of NCAA violations, phone calls, what's the big deal? No, there was other stuff going on in that program that was like dark. And not good. So it's just a shame that it didn't work out because obviously he would have had Indiana at an unbelievable level had better decisions been made on his part and really everybody that was associated with that program's part. Rob Senderoff, you know, like the whole anybody that allowed that kind of culture to take over at that program. But he's unbelievable. I did like the fact that, and I get it, you know, when you're in Indy, you want to make the story relevant to your audience. So we had Indy media that were covering the regional, right, that were asking Kelvin Sampson questions about, hey, how's it feel to be back in Indiana? And he just was like, I don't care, guys. I'm focused on Purdue. Right. I couldn't possibly care less. Or, you know, ask him about, you know, Matt Painter and, you know, the fact that he was at IU, remember? And that was supposed to be the next chapter of the rivalry. And Sampson and Painter both kind of shot those questions down because they didn't care. It's ancient history.
Right.
It's ancient history. And you know, honestly, it's the wound from Kelvin Sampson and all of that. It should have scabbed over by now.
I would agree with
that. You know,
that.
people are still mad about it. I guess I'm not going to tell people how to feel, but like Indiana's current problems don't date all the way back to Sampson.
Case in point, when I was trying to connect to Oklahoma and give you hints about Indiana, I was thinking more about the fact that for like 2 minutes, Porter Mosher was a name that was allegedly on the Indiana list. I didn't even think about the fact that they hired Kelvin Sampson from Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to talk about the biggest mistake that Indiana made in the 25 years since the Bob Knight firing, it's the fact that they didn't open the job up after Bob Knight was let go.
How do you do
that? That
this?
was the biggest mistake that they made.
How do you do this?
And that's no offense to Mike Davis, but they could have had any number of coaches.
Do you just put your little hand in there?
I can put my little hand in there if you want me to.
Okay.
Yeah. I can ball it up in a fist, and you can see what this little hand can do to your face as well. We come back on the show. Some quick hits, basketball-related news.
This face is the moneymaker.
It is. For both of us. Like I said, it's a high when it peak right now.
No.
Whenever the camera goes here,
No.
we get a peak in the audience. And we still have Bite or Bull Bleep to get to as well. It's Corey and Schultz here on the ISC Sports Network. Stick around.
At Bailey & Wood.
At an Indiana dairy farm, long workdays stretch into more labor after sunset. A newborn calf needs watching. Barn needs cleaning. Tractor needs some handiwork for tomorrow's tasks. Just like in your own home, the day's chores are never done until the family beds down for the night. Dairy farmers and their families share the same dream with all of us, that what we all do is worthwhile. Bringing to market pure, safe, and healthy dairy foods is what they do, from Indiana's dairy families to ours every single day. Learn more at winnersdrinkmilk.com.
I would like to welcome everyone back by saying this. I love the sandwiches from Hoagies and Hops. They're awesome.
Best.
And
Delicious.
I totally understand why Derek dove in.
Really good.
But he is the loudest chewer while consuming food. It is the most disgusting sound. There are a lot of things about you that irk the hell out of me. There is nothing more that bothers me than being within the same zip code as you when you are eating.
They've done studies on this. It's like it's almost like an ADHD type thing. Like it's you're like neuroticism or neurotic, whatever that is.
True.
You have mental wiring that's not right when those sounds are amplified, and it's you that has the problem.
True
not
or
me.
false? Truth serum in you here.
Yeah.
True or false? Your wife has made similar comments.
She has the same. She doesn't watch the show, so I can say this. She has the same mental issue. Yeah.
No.
Ashley doesn't watch the show, so I can fully admit
Does
that.
she know you do a show?
Sometimes she wonders where I am when I wake up early on Tuesdays. Like, where's he going, and why is he gone for an hour and a half?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if she still knows that I do stuff like this.
You have too much saliva when you eat, so it's like
Yeah. No.
it's disgusting.
No. I don't do that. Only you.
And you're
you
a very aggressive chewer.
You and her are the only people that have pointed this out, which makes it hard for me because it's,
We're
we're best friends, and then my wife is my
Derek.
best friend. So the two people that I love most in the world,
The
besides my son,
only two
have
people
pointed it
that
out.
you're ever around. You have no other friends, right?
I have lots of other friends. No one's ever
Okay.
said anything. You think I don't go to like Purdue all-you-can-eat buffets and luncheons and things like that?
Oh,
No one ever says anything.
Maybe not to you.
They say it to you? Okay.
Yeah.
Derek's a loud eater? I don't think they
Yes.
say that. Time for a couple of quick hits here.
You're getting more gray by the day. You know that?
I'm getting very gray. It's like rapid. But you know what? Like at this point, I'm like, just take over. Like, come
I
on.
hear
Like
ya.
especially in my mustache because whoa. Yeah, there we go. That's even for me. I mean, this is beautiful, but the mustache up here, like these are all kind of getting white, like right here on the top of my lip, and it looks like I've got food on my face all the time now. So
Oh, I can assure you it's
Yeah.
not in your face because you eat it far too aggressively.
yeah, and that's a good point. That's up there on the line. That the text up there. Everybody should read that and see.
No.
Butler is still playing basketball in the month of April. How about the Dogs?
They got to win.
Scored
right?
a win over Utah in the Crown tournament in Vegas. They're rewarded with a game against NCAA tournament bubble team Boise on Wednesday afternoon in the quarterfinals. So if they win that one, they'll get either Nebraska or Georgetown, Big East counterpart in the semis. I don't know, man. Butler was 14-19 this year. They're playing a basketball tournament. Like, good for Pierre Brooks. I guess, you had 22 points. Good for them trying.
Right.
But how are we supposed to feel about this event? Like,
No,
it's completely meaningless, right?
I would agree.
I don't know. It's a cash grab. I get why they keep trying to do it, but, like, it's just the non-NCAA tournament postseason events, it's dead in this landscape of college athletics with the portal and everything else.
A year ago, the NIT was really fun with Indiana State being in it.
But that's who you need in it. You need a team like Indiana State to be in it, that they invest in it. Is Georgetown? Georgetown's a national champion. It's freaking Georgetown. Are we supposed to care? I mean, Utah's played for national championships and been to Final Fours.
Right.
I don't know. Butler's been to national championship games and played in Final Fours, and I guess they cared, so okay, fine. Yarden Garzon transferring for IU. That's a big deal for Terry Morin's squad. She's their leading scorer.
Derek,
6'3" guard. She can play multiple positions. She's a dead-eye shooter.
Isn't every play I saw, in the women's game, the top WNBA salary for rookies is what, like $85,000?
It's not a lot.
You can get $1 million in the transfer.
But in her case, because she's technically an Israeli citizen, I don't know. There's some like NIL thing where they can't get the NIL deals.
That happened with Zach Edey.
That American kids can
get. That's why they
get.
played in Canada. Yeah.
So I don't know if that's relevant to her or not.
I'm not saying in her case. I'm just saying in general.
Yeah. In general, I think it's better to maximize. Like the Olivia from Notre Dame. The girl that's transferring because she's like, I got to maximize right now. Like, she's going to make more money at South Carolina or UConn or anything like that than she will her first 2 or 3 years in the WNBA, probably.
I told you my plan.
Those salaries will catch up, by the way. WNBA salaries will catch up.
My plan, and people laughed at me. They're like, dude, you're a moron. And I'm like, dude, if I was a solid Division I college basketball player, let's say I'm a top 40 recruit in high school, okay? I go to the school that's going to get me the most as a freshman, right? My freshman year, I averaged 12 a game. But I'm not an NBA player. I throw my name in the portal. I get the school that I played for as a freshman nervous. I get them to hopper and pony up even more money. I stay there my sophomore year. Junior year now, I averaged 17 and a half as a sophomore. Now people are really interested in me. My junior year, bring it on. I'm in the portal, highest bidder. I don't care if it's McNeese. If they're going to give me $3.5 million, bada boom, let's go, right? Senior year, I know I'm not an NBA player. I've now made, let's say, $3.5, $4 million total. Senior year, I know I'm going to go play in Europe. I'm going to make $800,000 a year tax-free for 10 years. Senior year, I call and contact Stanford, Vanderbilt, North Carolina, Cal Berkeley,
UVA,
Michigan, and the Ivy Leagues.
Okay.
And I say, you don't owe me a dime. I don't even know if the big state schools I throw in there. Ivy League, Stanford, Vanderbilt. You don't owe me a dime, but you're going to take all my college credits that I've accumulated from these other two schools over 3 years,
including McNeese State,
and I'm going to graduate with a degree from your university. And people told me, they're like, "There's no way Stanford would do that." And I'm like, "You think so?"
I don't know if Stanford would take your McNeese State credits, but if you're a good enough player,
but McNeese is probably. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, that the credits that I'm bringing are from Kansas and Texas Tech.
Then that's probably fine. Yeah.
People can tell me all they want. Like,
those are two very low level.
People can tell me all they want. Like, Stanford and Vanderbilt would not do that. That's why they're elite. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I will not in any way, shape, or form believe that there have not been athletic exceptions made in the admissions at Stanford.
I mean, the reason why they brought Andrew Luck in was because they want to get serious now. They know they haven't been serious.
Right.
And they brought Andrew Luck in to be serious again about sports in this new age.
And Frank Reich is their new coach.
They hired Frank Reich? How did I miss that? When did that happen? Are you serious? Rake, when did that happen? Interim coach.
Yeah, but he's going to coach for the year.
When was that announced? Yesterday? Okay. I've been really busy at work. I've been really busy.
Apparently.
like totally slammed at work.
Former face of the franchise of the Indianapolis Colts, Andrew Luck, hires his former Indianapolis Colts coach to be the interim at Stanford now that Luck's the general manager there, and Derek's been busy at work.
I totally missed that.
Yeah. Not an April Fool's joke.
I'll always be a Frank Reich proponent.
Good guy.
I'm a Frank Reich guy.
It's chocolate milk.
And I think his tenure will age better, like 5-7. Once we get out of the immediate wake of all this disappointment, once they move on from Ballard and all that stuff.
I would agree with that.
I think it'll age a lot better. We come back on the show, Chateau Kitchen's Buy It or Bull Bleep, and we will tie a bow on episode 230. Corey and Schultz here on the ISC Sports Network.
into tonight?
You know we cover all sports in Central Indiana. Hop in. It's going to be a long night.
Bailey and Wood Mortgage Lender, proud partner of News 8 Sports Hummer.
At an Indiana dairy farm, long workdays stretch into more labor after sunset. A newborn calf needs watching. Barn needs cleaning. Tractor needs some handiwork for tomorrow's tasks. Just like in your own home, the day's chores are never done until the family beds down for the night. Dairy farmers and their families share the same dream with all of us, that what we all do is worthwhile. Bringing to market pure, safe, and healthy dairy foods is what they do. From Indiana's dairy families to ours every single day. Learn more at winnersdrinkmilk.com.
Hey, AC!
Nice snap.
Mortgage is a snap. Duh!
Bailey and Wood, a lending hand for Wish TV Sports.
Welcome back, final time. It is Corey and Schultz, ISC Sports Network. My left eyebrow has been itchy today. I'm not sure why. Just my left one.
The gray.
It's
the gray.
I have a beard wash that I use every morning, and I also do my eyebrows with it because they're so thick. So if I don't, sometimes it'll dry out and I'll get dander in my eyebrow.
What?
I'll get, like the white flakes.
Dandruff.
Yeah, like dander I'll get in my eyebrows if I don't moisturize.
Dander?
Yeah. I think is it the singular term? And dandruff is I don't know. So I use this special moisturizer for my beard and get all up in here, right? But also for my eyebrows. And I dig pretty deep. I massage it in there because it's I know that it looks like kind of rough on the surface. It's actually kind of soft. You want to feel? It's actually pretty soft. It's like surprising. Here, take your hand and just give it a brush.
No.
I mean, you can maybe hear it on the microphone. Maybe you can't because it's so soft. But it's just been itching me. I don't know what the deal is. I might put some oil in it and see if that helps. I have like a beard oil that I also sometimes put in my eyebrows too. It's my those morning routine videos.
I will let you know.
It's my morning routine. That's what it is.
I actually, when I get my hair done, I actually specifically say, oh, and by the way, take as much off the eyebrows as you would like. Because I'm a self-respectable human being and self-respected human being. And, I take care and groom in the proper fashions to make sure that things are aligned. You, on the other hand, are wanting to be Andy Rooney.
You have your barber do it, though? I have an extra eyebrow trimmer. I bought a new one. If you want my old one, you can have it. It's got two different attachments, so you can go as light or as heavy as you want. I mean, if you want to go like full like Eugene Levy, you could do that setting on there. It's not actually called that.
Who makes it? Dixie Chopper?
No, Black & Decker. Yeah, it's orange and black. It's nice. But I used that one for 2 or 3 years, and then it got kind of gunked up, and so I started using another one.
Gunked up?
Well, I cleaned it out.
From the dandery?
No, I cleaned it out, but you can have it if you want. My eyebrow trimmer. I have 3 different trimmers. I have a beard one, I have an eyebrow one, and then I have a sensitive one. No, not just for that, but like for this, like because I have to be sensitive about that, and I have a special cream that I use. See, this is a great show because we could talk about sports, we could talk about the Colts, and then we could talk about male issues, and it's a show for guys. It's a guy show, dude talk. Time for Chateau Kitchens, Biter Bull Bleep, and they're our proud sponsor of Query and Schultz, as you could tell. Owned by a dude in Stephen Moore. He gets like classic cars and goes hiking up mountains, hangs out with his dogs. He's a guy. He's a dude.
Okay. Well, I'm sure
And he likes guy shows like this show. That's why they sponsor this show. Guys being dudes, just like Steve.
Okay.
And he's got great guys and gals on the Chateau Kitchens team. In-home transformations, that's what they're in the business of doing at Chateau Kitchens. Go to chateaukitchens.com to get your quote today. And you don't need to hear it from me, even though they've basically redone my entire house. Just go to their accounts on social media, Instagram and Facebook at Chateau Kitchen. See the before and after pictures of those transformations, and you'll love it.
Sure, they've probably made your bathroom
Megan,
feel very at home when you're in there.
Ryan,
using your trimmers.
Everyone named Ryan. They've got multiple Ryans, and every Ryan that they have on the Chateau Kitchens team is awesome. ChateauKitchens.com if you want to check them out. Buy it or bull bleep. Statement numero uno. If Duke or Houston win the national championship, it'll be the most hard-earned championship of any championship in college basketball history. Buy it or bull bleep.
Bull Schultz. Arizona, 97. Arizona had to beat 3 number ones. They knocked out number 1 Kansas in the regional. They got to the Final Four. They had to go to overtime. They beat North Carolina. Then they could go to overtime to beat Kentucky.
They beat 3 ones. Yeah. They beat 3 ones. Who was the other team? Because they beat Kentucky, or they beat
Minnesota was the 4th Final Four team.
Who'd they beat in the Sweet 16? Arizona.
Kansas.
Kansas was the one, but then who'd they beat in the Elite 8?
Rhode Island, maybe?
Okay. Yeah, that was the
Lamar
Valpo
Odom team?
No, it couldn't have been Rhode Island because Rhode Island beat Kansas in 98. Arizona was 97.
You may be right.
Yeah.
Let me look.
Look and see because the other
Providence. It was Providence.
Okay, so the Godsham God
that was an
Austin
overtime
Crozier
game also.
team. But that was a 10 seed, right?
Yeah, but that was an overtime game.
But it was a 10 seed.
Correct.
So if you add up the seeds, I understand the ones played a 16, but if you add up the seeds, is it as high?
No.
We'd have to look.
I don't know, though.
Jake, I think yes. If Houston, consider this too. Houston beat Purdue in Indianapolis. Houston had to play Tennessee in Indianapolis. It was all Tennessee fans. There were like 500 people there wearing red. Like 500. It was all Tennessee. There was orange everywhere. So you played 2 at least 80-20 splits. Not road games because it's still an NCAA tournament game. It's not a road game.
Let me offer one unpopular opinion again. I agree with you about Houston having to play Purdue in Indianapolis. Lucas Oil Stadium is way too cavernous for a basketball game. There's no atmosphere. There's no energy because it's way too open space, and the noise just kind of gets like the game's a rumor from where you're sitting. The music is super loud. It's dark with like one little light on the court like you're at a boxing arena, and the arena is so big that you walk around the concourses during breaks and people are just kind of leisurely strolling around because it doesn't have the close confined intimacy that like a Gainbridge Fieldhouse does. End of rant.
I just hate I hate the Final Four setup isn't ideal either because you're just parking the court in the middle of a football field and the seats are still far back. I just hate the end zone. I hate putting it in the end zone and cutting it off with the current. I don't like it. I'll never like it. I understand why they do it, I guess, but it was especially tough because the regionals this year were all in basketball arenas except for the Midwest.
Right.
And I get it, high school basketball, right? You have conflicts. Indy's constantly got stuff going on. Newark, New Jersey is not like that.
Correct.
It's still, the folks at Sports Core and everybody, they do a great job putting the events on.
Understood.
But I just don't love basketball games in football stadiums. I don't. And we've been to multiple Final Fours. We've seen a lot of basketball games in football stadiums, and even the close seats suck. Even the close seats aren't good. It's just it's not set up for basketball viewing. Anthony Richardson will be the opening game starter for the Colts in September. Buy it or bull bleep. Let's just call our shot now before OTAs and all this other stuff starts.
Buy it. Doesn't mean forever. Buy it.
You ready for my hot take? Bull bleep.
The Daniel Jones.
I just have a feeling
they do seem to be paying him an awful lot to be a backup.
Maybe I'm taking their word for it too much here. I genuinely believe that they're going to have an open competition. Some people scoff at that because they've got too much invested in Richardson. The people that think that are the ones that think that Chris Ballard is on the – I don't know if Chris Ballard's on the hot seat. I don't know if there is such thing as a hot seat.
Fair.
And because of that, I still think you're trying to maximize what you have and save your booty. And if you're doing that, then you're going with the best player available, and that might be Jones. I don't think Daniel Jones is that good. But Richardson might not be able to play at all. I don't know. I'm just out on Richardson. Maybe I shouldn't be. He's still young, and maybe that lottery ticket is going to cash. But last year just really beat me down. I just think he didn't show close to enough to get me to keep believing.
Buy it or bull Schultz, you ready?
Yeah.
The national champion in college basketball will have a mascot that is an animal indigenous to North America.
God, you're so weird. Let's see. Cougar, Blue Devil is nothing.
Okay.
A gator and a tiger.
Mm-hmm.
So you're asking me Duke or the field?
No. Well, there's no tigers indigenous to North America, are there?
I don't know. I saw one at a zoo the other day.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like there's no tigers like roaming the prairies in North Dakota or whatever? Okay. So Duke or Auburn or Houston or Florida?
Well, basically what I'm saying is the national champion would have to be Florida or Houston.
Yeah. I would take, if you're giving me those groupings, I think Auburn is the 4th team.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I picked Auburn to win it.
At this point, I picked Auburn in my title game. But at this point, I think they're the 4th team on that list. With what we've seen so far. And Florida's had some close scrapes.
What's interesting is Duke is playing the best of anybody. Yeah. But, I mean, you got a week off now. You never know when teams come out and they're just flat.
I'm just telling you, I think Houston's going to win it all. I think they're going to win it all. I think they have the least pizzazz out of the 4 teams that are left.
I don't disagree.
But I think they're going to win it all.
They are punchy in the mouth for sure.
Because they are such a headache to play. Like, it was exhausting to watch them play. And I mean that in a good way. Like, not exhausting like, Archie Miller's IU teams were exhausting to watch. I mean exhausting like in a good way. Thanks to our great sponsors, our friends at Chateau Kitchens. Also, Hoagies and Hops and Chili Water Tap Room. Hey, American Dairy Association Indiana, welcome back to the show. Winners Drink Milk and winnersdrinkmilk.com. And Bailey & Wood Financial Group. Thanks to Jordan. Thanks to Greg. I feel like the show went well. Vince wasn't here today, so it did feel a little bit smoother overall. But thanks to the ISC crew for helping us out. We will see you next time right here on Corey and Schultz here on the ISC Sports Network. Oh, I'm doing this.
At an Indiana dairy farm, long workdays stretch into more labor after sunset. A newborn calf needs watching. Barn needs cleaning. Tractor needs some handiwork for tomorrow's tasks. Just like in your own home, the day's chores are never done until the family beds down for the night. Dairy farmers and their families share the same dream with all of us, that what we all do is worthwhile. Bringing to market pure, safe, and healthy dairy foods is what they do, from Indiana's dairy families to ours every single day. Learn more at winnersdrinkmilk.com.
At